Meet Little P, or Pedro, as his friends back home would call him. He's a long way from Mexico now, a fresh finance grad with a head full of dreams. But let me tell you, just getting his foot in the door here, it was absolutely brutal. Honestly, the only reason he landed this internship is that his old professor pulled some serious strings. Without that, he wouldn't have stood a chance. Why? Just look around. The era of human traders is officially over. AI and high-frequency algorithms run the show now. They're faster, they're smarter, and they don't even need a lunch break. Little P knows the deal. Once his internship is up, he's out. There's just no room for him here. The closing bell finally rang. After a grueling subway ride, Little P stepped out into the night. It was pitch black out there. The air here was damp and bone-chilling. It was a cruel contrast to the dry, warm sun of Mexico. He was walking under the buzz of a street lamp when, suddenly, he spotted it. An alarm clock. But, man, it was a total oddball. It was shaped like a tiny devil round belly, sharp horns, but it had a defect. It only had one single hand. It looked like a broken toy, and yet it was pristine. It had this cold, metallic gleam to it. It definitely didn't look like some piece of trash someone just tossed away. Little P paused for a second. He thought to himself, you know, my phone alarm is pretty hit or miss anyway. Maybe I can actually get this thing working again. So, he scooped up the little metal devil and headed home. Little did he know he'd just tucked fate right into his pocket. Little P's apartment was, well, honestly, calling it an apartment is being pretty generous. It was basically just a dorm room, a loft bed with this tiny cramped desk squeezed underneath. No kitchen, zero privacy. The bathroom and shower were way down the hall, totally communal. And get this, you had to pay every time you used them. If you took too long in the shower, boom, the water shuts off unless you feed it more coins. He sat down at his tiny desk and tried to Google the manufacturer. He flipped the clock over to check the label. It read, Single-Hand Alarm Clock, made by Little Devil Incorporated. Just press the top button to start. And right underneath in tiny fine print, for serious issues, please consult the parent company, Big Devil Corp. Turns out, it wasn't broken. It was just really weird. Being curious, he hit the button. That lone hand started ticking. Tick, tock. But it was moving counterclockwise, straight up backwards. Little P rolled his eyes. Great. A clock that tells the wrong time. Exactly what I needed, he thought. He tossed the boring gadget on the desk and crawled into his bunk. Between the brutal commute and the stress of the internship, he was totally wiped out. In minutes, he was out like a light. The next morning, the alarm buzzed. Little P got up, washed his face, and went on autopilot. Subway, walk, jacket on, just like any other day. But when he logged into his terminal, he froze. The date on the screen read, December 29, 2025. Wait, that was yesterday. He rubbed his eyes. Maybe IT messed up? Maybe the server crashed? But as a lowly intern, he didn't dare say a word. So, he just kept his head down. Then, the opening bell rang. The Nasdaq started moving. Little P watched the charts. And man, his blood just ran cold. Every single tick, every green candle, every sudden drop. It wasn't just similar. It was a total carbon copy of yesterday. He sat there in pure terror, watching a rerun of his story right up until the closing bell. He went home in a total daze. His mind was just racing. Was he going crazy? Or was the whole world just broken? He lay in his bunk, tossing and turning until late into the night, too terrified to even close his eyes. He kept asking himself one question. When I wake up, will it be today, all over again? Day 2. The alarm rang. 7 a.m., December 29th. Again. Little P went through the motions subway jacket desk. But this time, when the opening bell rang and the Nasdaq repeated yesterday's moves tick for tick, the fear just vanished. Pure excitement took over. He was in full-on God mode. He knew the future. Every dip, every spike. He wasn't just an intern anymore. He was a prophet. He thought, I'm gonna trade options. I'm gonna short the top. I'm gonna be rich by 4 p.m. But then, reality gave him a hard slap in the face. He opened his brokerage app. Balance, $300. $300. You can't even buy a fraction of an Nvidia share with that. And it got worse. He remembered the compliance rules. He signed a contract. No unauthorized trading. Everything must be reported. Plus, stocks operate on T+2 settlement. That means if he sells today, the cash arrives in 2 days. But he doesn't have 2 days. He only has today. He was desperate. He tried a loan shark, but the guy took one look at his intern badge and laughed. Come back when you have a real job, he said. Lottery? Too slow. Too much red tape to claim the prize. He needed speed. He needed instant settlement. He needed T+0. So he turned to the Wild West of finance, crypto and futures. I don't know how many times he relived that day. 50? 100? It doesn't even matter. What matters is, he finally cracked the code. He found the perfect, non-overlapping timeline to compound his capital. A strategy that squeezed every single drop of profit out of those 24 hours. Since crypto never sleeps, he started there. With high leverage and perfect knowledge of the chart, he turned his pit, Eiffel $300 into $3,000 before the sun even came up. He moved that $3,000 in to his futures account just as the market opened. He rode the volatility like a surfer. By lunchtime, that $3,000 had snowballed into $30,000. But here is the real pro move. He didn't get greedy. He cashed out right away, just before the morning session wrapped up. Why? Because banks are like dinosaurs. If you start a wire transfer in the afternoon, you won't see a cent of that cash until tomorrow. And for little P, there is no tomorrow. He needed the cold hard cash in his hand, today. He was living it up like the true king of New York. He ditched that oversized intern jacket for sharp Italian silk suits. He rented supercars. He booked the presidential suite. He was buying rounds for everyone at the most exclusive bars in town. But see, that's the thing about lifestyle creep. It happened so fast. Soon, $30,000 just wasn't cutting it anymore. The whips, the girls, the VIP service, all that stuff burned a hole right through his cash before the sun even went down. By 8 p.m., he was Cinderella all over again, totally broke and bored out of his mind. He stumbled back to his crappy dorm. He wanted to show off, but there was no one there, except for that clock. He picked up the little devil and stared at the back label again. He started squinting at a line of text he'd missed before. It was the fine print. How to contact Big Devil Corp. Place the little devil clock against your belly button while sleeping. Little P smiled. So, you're the glitch, he whispered. The partying had left him totally exhausted. His head was just spinning with alcohol and greed. He figured, why not? Maybe customer service has some kind of upgrade plan. He pressed that cold metal right against his stomach and slowly closed his eyes. Little P opened his eyes. He wasn't in his bunk anymore. A voice boomed from everywhere and nowhere. Welcome to the Big Devil Pawn Shop. We accept all deposits. Welcome. Little P stood before the entity. He cut straight to the chase. Little P. Is it you? Are you the one making me repeat, December 29th? Big devil. Guilty as charged, kid do. Just a little. Service we provide. Little P, I need an upgrade. One day just isn't cutting it. I need for tie 8 hours. Little P. Extend the loop to run from the 29th to the 30th. Big devil. Doable. Very doable. But what's your collateral? Little P. Monet. I'll pay you whatever you want. Big devil. Oh please, we don't touch money here. It's just fill thy pop her. Big devil. We only accept non-monetary assets. Little P. Non-monetary? Like what? Big devil. Everything else. Your moods, your emotions, your personality, your appetite, your temper. Little P was confused. Even the bad stuff? My anger? My sadness? Big devil. Especially the bad stuff. We take negative emotions, anxiety, laziness. Even your gluttony. We take it all. The devil snapped his fingers, and a holographic menu appeared. He started his pitch, sounding just like a high-end life coach. Big devil. For instance, you could mortgage gluttony. You'd stop overeating, become slim and fit. Though, looking at your skinny ribs, you don't really need that one. Or mortgage greed. Without it, you'd share your wealth. Pay-o-play would love you. You'd be the most popular guy in the room. Great for networking. How about Sloth? This is a bestseller. Give this up and you'll never sleep in again. No more doom scrolling on your phone. No more video games. Just pure, unadulterated hustle. Mortgage lust? You'll be immune to seduction. No distractions from woman. You can stay laser focused on one thing. Mocking Monet. Mortgage pride, and you become humble. You'll learn faster because you won't be afraid to ask questions. Mortgage envy. You'll stop hating your rich partners. You'll achieve synergy. You'll work together perfectly. And finally wrath. Give this up and you become calm. Calculated. You'll never make a rash decision again. Perfect risk management. Of course, the devil didn't say the quiet part out loud. He hid the horrifying truth right behind a slick salesman's smile. What he was really selling was total enslavement. Think about it. If you mortgage gluttony, he doesn't even have to feed you. You'll never get hungry. Your maintenance cost to him? Zero. If you give up greed, he won't have to worry about you stealing his treasure. You become the perfect, unpaid guard dog. Give up sloth? You become the ultimate tool. When he says jump, you don't say ladder. You don't procrastinate. You just execute. Give up pride, and you become a subservient slave, bowing to his every whim. Give up envy, and you stop thinking. You stop comparing. You become a mindless machine. And the most dangerous one of all, wrath? Without anger, you lose the will to fight back. You'll never rebel. You'll accept exploitation with a smile. These sins are actually what make us human, but to the big devil they're just bugs in the system. He wants to strip them away to turn you into a consumable, an obedient, emotionless battery that never eats, never sleeps, and never complains. Little P weighed his options. To him, it was a total no-brainer. Sloth? Who needs that? Laziness is for losers, he thought. So, he made the deal. He mortgaged his sloth for an extra 24 hours. The big devil smiled. A wide, satisfied grin. He knew exactly what he just bought. He woke up. The deal worked, but something was different. He didn't yawn. He didn't stretch. He was totally wired. He started his loop again, crypto first, then futures, but then he hit a wall. Transferring way too much money triggered the bank's risk control. His accounts got flagged. You can't just wire mill lions in a single day without the feds knocking on your door. He needed a loophole. He needed cold, hard cash. He needed the laundromat. Destination Atlantic City. This is exactly where that no-sloth curse turned in to a too-tall superpower. He drove for hours and hours without even blinking once. He hit the casino floor just like a Machine. No fatigue, zero hesitation. He memorized the whole blackjack shoe. He timed the RNG of the slot machines right down to the millisecond. 18 hours straight, no bathroom breaks, no food, just non-stop winning. By the time he finally walked out, he had $1 million in cash stuffed into a duffel bag. A perfect strategy, but look at his eyes. There's no joy in there, just cold, hard calculation. With no need for sleep thanks to Lossing Sloth, he partied for 4 to 8 hours straight. Every glow loop. He bought cars he couldn't keep. He dated models who wouldn't even remember his name the next morning. He ate Michelin star meals that vanished from his stomach the second the clock reset. But soon, that novelty just wore off. He realized he wasn't rich at all. He was just renting. The money, gone at midnight. The girlfriends, reset back to strangers. The respect, to tally deleted. He felt a new kind of emptiness. Not hunger, not fatigue, but existential dread. It was like playing a video game where you can't save your progress. What's the point of leveling up if you're always stuck back at level 1? He wanted more. He didn't just want to visit this life. He wanted to keep it. He thought, maybe I can extend the loop. Maybe I can make it permanent. Or maybe I just need to trade something else. After countless loops, the silence finally hit him. Suddenly, he didn't want a Ferrari anymore. He didn't care about the chips. He just wanted his Abula. He just really want his grandma. You see, his parents really wanted him to just stay back in Mexico. Don't go to the US, they said. It's just way too hard over there. But his Abula, man, she truly believed in him. She was the one who sold everything. She owned her jewelry, her family heirlooms just to buy that one plane ticket for him. She backed him up the whole time he was fighting for that scholarship. And right before he took off, she only had one single thing left, a simple silver cross. She pressed it into his hand and said, "Take this, Pedro. Whenever you are lost, pray to it. It will show you the way." Little P pulls that worn silver cross out of his pocket. It looks kind of dull compared to that flashy watch of his. He hadn't touched the thing in months, but tonight, that $1 million felt ice cold. And that cross, it felt strangely warm. He tried to give her a call. He just wanted to hear her voice, just to tell her he finally made it. But the screen just kept flashing. Connection failed. He tried again. Failed. Again. Failed. It wasn't just a bad signal. It felt like the whole line was cut off from reality itself. Grandma wasn't picking up the phone, so he turned to plan B. He sent a text to his childhood friend, Juan. Juan had moved to the States years and years ago. He desperately needed a tether to reality. Someone who knew the real Pedro, not the Wall Street ghost. They started chatting, throwing out old jokes, deep memories. They talked about that one Christmas back in Mexico. The pie, ñata. Little P typed, "Hey, do you remember who actually broke the pie, ñata, that year? Who swung the stick?" Juan replied instantly, "Ha ha, are you drunk? It was you, bro." One hit, blindfolded. You always had the devil's luck. Little P stopped breathing. He typed back, "Are you sure?" Juan, 100%. I saw it with my own eyes. Bzzzt, his brain buzzed, a violent static noise. Because little P remembered the truth. It wasn't him. It wasn't Juan. It was his dog, Chico. The dog got loose, jumped up, and ripped the pie, Nyata wide open. They even took a photo of it. That photo is hanging on his living room wall in Mexico right now. Juan was lying, or rather, Juan didn't even know. This world, this simulation, it filled in the blank with some genre logic. The hero breaks the pie, Nyata, but it missed the chaotic truth. It missed the dog. That realization hit him way harder than a market crash. He wasn't traveling back in time. He wasn't stuck in Groundhog Day. He looked at the goldfish on his desk, just swimming in circles. It was thinking its glass prison was the whole universe. He was the fish, trapped in a sandbox. A simulated space designed by the devil himself. Terror just flooded through his veins. He needed help. He needed something real. He remembered his Abulah's words. Whenever you are lost, pray. Trembling, he reached for that silver cross hanging around his neck. But the secant on his index finger touched that holy silver. A violent, searing pain shot straight up his arm. It wasn't a warm embrace. It was a rejection. He screamed and dropped the cross. He looked at his finger. It was charred black. And then he realized that was his signing finger. The finger he used to press the button. The finger he used to sign the contract in that dream. The finger that treaded his soul. He was tainted. The simulation knew it. And God, well, God knew it too. Fear quickly turned into pure rage. He felt played, totally conned. The devil didn't give him a gift. He put him in a cage. He looked at that little metal mockery, the little devil clock, the source of it all. He thought, if I break the clock, I break the loop. If I destroy the encore, I can escape the fishbowl. Bam! He smashed it with a lamp. Crack! He threw it against the wall. Thud! He stomped on it with his heel. He unleashed all his frustration, all his fear, and all his anger on to that teeny object. But when the dust finally settled, the clock just sat there, pristine, not a scratch, not a dent. That one single hand just kept ticking backwards, all calm and rhythmic, like it was mocking his useless struggle. Little P stood there, soaked to the bone in sweat. His whole room was just a too-tall wreck. But here's the part that's really freaky. He was sweating buckets. His heart was racing like crazy, but get this, he felt zero fatigue. His muscles didn't even ache. His lungs weren't burning. Don't forget, he mortgaged his sloth. He was just a Martian stuck inside a nightmare. No resting, no breaking out. He splashed some ice-cold water on his face and looked straight into the mirror. 2 whole days without a wink of sleep. Even without Sloth, his body was falling apart. He looked like a ghost haunting his own damn life. Then he saw it, in the reflection. The little devil clock. In the real world it ticked backwards, trapping him in the past. But in the mirror, the reflection reversed it. It was ticking forward. A crazy idea sparked in his brain. If the fishbowl is the trap, maybe the reflection is the exit. He grabbed the clock and held it directly against the glass. Real clock versus mirror clock, past versus future. He needed a catalyst, something to bridge the gap. He pulled out the silver cross. Even though it burned him before, this time he didn't care about the pain. He closed his eyes and started to pray. Not for money, not for time, but for freedom. Suddenly, the whole world tilted. Little P woke up to a horrifying truth. He wasn't trying to escape into the mirror. He'd been inside the mirror the whole time. He was the reflection. The real world was on the other side. That indestructible clock on the floor started to crack and morph. Gears twisted into bones. It turned into a grotesque, gremlin-like creature. The clock on the floor, it manifested. It wasn't a machine. It was a minion. Big devil. Useless. You piece of scrap metal. You can't even handle one junior trader? Big devil. Do I have to do everything myself? Little P looked up at the monster. The life coach disguise was totally gone. His pockets were bulogging, not with cash, but with complete human souls. Glowing, screaming, trapped in plastic bags just like cheap goldfish. But the worst part was his entourage. Behind him stood the winners. The people who had traded everything. Their eyes were blank, dead, just like they were high on fentanyl on a Philadelphia street corner. And their bodies, folded, twisted into I am possible shapes, spines bent backwards, knees buck-led. They were the folded ones. Humans who mortgaged their pain, their pride, their anger, until there was no structure left to hold them up. They were just meat puppets waiting for a command. But the devil made a huge calculation error. Little P's mortgage on Sloth hadn't expired yet. The contract wasn't closed. That piece of soul, it started to burn. It burned right through the plastic. It even burned through the devil's expensive suit. Like a homing missile, it shot straight back to its owner. It shot right through the mirror portal. Because true laziness is way too stubborn to be enslaved. Little P gasped and sat straight up. He was back in his bunk. He checked his phone. The date was right. The time was finally moving forward. He jumped down and looked at the desk. The little devil clock was gone. Just a regular, cheap digital clock remained. He looked everywhere for that little devil clock. Gone. Vanished into thin air. Was it all just a dream? A hallucination caused by stress and hunger? He didn't care. He dialed the one singular number that mattered. Ring, ring, and then a click. Voice on phone. Hola, Pedro? Is that you, mijo? Little P burst into tears. Yes, Abula. It's me. I'm finally awake. People are going, eating way too much, sleeping in, crying, laughing. We spend our whole lives trying to fix our flaws. We try to cure our laziness, our anger, and our greed. But maybe, just maybe, those aren't bugs, they are features. Without greed, we have zero ambition. Without fear, we have no caution. Without sloth, we have no rest. The devil wants us perfect, efficient, and obedient, just like AI, just like machines. But it is these 7 deadly sins, these messy, chaotic I am perfections, that make us sentient. So stay flawed, my friends, stay human.